Good afternoon and welcome to another iteration of the Global Alpha podcast with MPC Markets. I have a special guest, JT, with me today. We're both in the void, unfortunately, but hope everyone can hear us loud and clear.
All right, cool. Let's welcome and welcome to the Global Alpha podcast. So my first attempt at being here. So hopefully I add some value.
Absolutely. Not too much to talk about this week. It's been pretty quiet on the markets front. Earnings coming through. We've had Jackson Hole on Monday. Generally, with the markets, we've seen them slightly slip a little bit towards sort of the latter end of last week and the start of this week. Anything really standing out for you with the markets at the moment generally?
Looks like for me, and I'm going to call this fairly early, is that it feels like the market's topping out here. So the main risk barometer that I look at is Bitcoin, and that's back under 110 at the moment and looking weak. So it looks like it made that new high at 124 and it's pulled back. I've noticed the XJO got over 9,000 and it's pulling back. And the S&P didn't quite make the 6,500, but it's pulled back already. So I have a funny feeling that if Nvidia doesn't save this market, I think we'll see more of a pullback and consolidation from here. But
I was just going to say that I think what are really the catalysts? Are we needing catalysts to pull the market down further? Is it we're waiting for Nvidia's earnings, and if they disappoint, we're going to see the market come off as a whole?
Yeah, I think in general, we've been talking about in the office is that the markets don't stay still anymore. It's not like the market will just hang around this $8,900 level, 8,900 level in the XJO or 6,400 in the S&P. It'll have to go either way, and unless Nvidia comes out with some bumper earnings, or you can just see a bit more downside here. Now, I'm not saying that we're going to get a massive pullback. But I just think that we've had this massive run from April all the way up to what is seasonally a weak period in September, October, without any so much of a pullback. So it just feels like we're overdue. So that's what I see over the next couple of months.
Absolutely, but in the short term, if we see Nvidia post a bumper earnings, that could not be the case.
Oh, absolutely, and that's how we play things. Like you kind of just let the market show you which way it wants to go and just go with that. And
absolutely.
And if Nvidia does come out, I think I saw an article about them going heavily into robotics chips.
Yep.
So if they come out with some surprise there or something that captures the market's imagination, the biggest company in the world could just keep getting bigger.
Yeah. They do have a bit of headwinds though at the moment with China demand sort of falling and restrictions on their exports over there. So, we are sort of waiting patiently to see that earnings definitely. And along with Nvidia, you've got two other sort of larger companies that are reporting on Wednesday as well, Snowflake and CrowdStrike. I don't think they'll have sort of the pull on the market as Nvidia, as much of a pull on the market as Nvidia does. But I do think they're important results to see.
So what does Snowflake actually do, Richard?
CrowdStrike is a major cybersecurity play that we've been looking at, and Snowflake is cloud software, things like that.
Okay. Not
one I'm deeply versed on. It's not really in my favorite space, but I do know it is in the FANG ETF with Global X. It's one of the larger tech stocks over there. So yeah, I do think it will be an important earnings.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. I mean, we've got, because what I've seen in the US market is that there's a lot of froth in the smaller space, like CoreWeave, had that massive run. It's pulled right back now, and let's just see if Snowflake, CrowdStrike can keep it going.
Absolutely. And I think over the next few weeks, there's some other big companies coming out with earnings. So we are still in the midst of that earnings season, and various businesses can go either way just based on those outcomes there.
Oh, yeah, interesting. So I just pulled up a chart of CoreWeave. It's back under $100 now. So
wow.
So that thing IPO'd at I think 30, and it ran all the way to 180, and it's back under 100 now. So yeah, that's the kind of volatility that's out there.
It IPO'd around the same time as Circle, did it not?
Yeah, that's right. So Circle, that should be doing okay because it's all about the stable coins.
Yeah.
Oh no, that's pulled back as well. So looks like they IPO'd, debuted around the $70 mark. Got got near 300, or might have just touched 300, and it's back around 130 now. So
Absolutely.
so even the froth is coming out of circle, even though the US government keeps talking about stable coins and
Mhm.
how they can help with the T-bill market and refinance the US debt. So interesting
Absolutely.
times there.
Absolutely. Talking of the US government, we've seen a fair bit of interest in them taking stakes in various businesses, particularly in the chip space this week. Intel's been approached to, I think, pass over 10% through to the government, and they've actually flagged it to potentially have negative outcomes, particularly in their international markets that they participate in quite heavily. I was looking, they're quite skewed to the international demand of their chips in this day and age, unlike in the past. So it is an interesting approach from the Trump administration. Do you think it'll be a good thing? What do you think it'll mean for the markets as a whole?
Oh, it's just interesting. I remember it wasn't too long ago where Trump was actually bagging out the Intel CEO, saying,
Mm-hmm.
um, he just talked about it just sounds like, because if Trump doesn't get the deal he wants,
Mm-hmm.
he'll basically just badmouth you till you give him the deal you do
Yeah.
that he wants. So
Mm-hmm.
I think he was talking down Intel to obviously maybe get that 10% stake he wanted, and then obviously now that he's got what he's wanted, he's like, this Intel CEOs are magnificent. We're going to build America, make America great again. So it's a very, very political trade.
Absolutely.
So it's just all about, you got to watch the Don and see what will be the most beneficial for him
Yeah.
in terms of deal making to be able to trade those situations. But either way, like just from the lows here, so when Trump didn't like Intel, share price was around 20. Now that they have a stake, it's trading around 25. So they're the types
Is
of
that
moves.
is that move happened since they've sort of come out and said they want to accumulate that 10% holding, or is that prior?
No, it's prior. So
Okay.
I just remember it wasn't too long ago where the Intel CEO was on the outs,
Yep.
and that's what caused the actual drop back down to 20. But now that he's back in the White House, he's obviously given Trump what he wants, and the
Mm-hmm.
share price is back at 25. So there you go. The Trump got what he wants, and that's why the share price is higher.
Absolutely. I was reading that it might be a negative outcome for existing shareholders, particularly with their voting rights and things like that. There might be some dilution there.
Yeah,
Um,
true. Well, one thing that is interesting is that in terms of the physical chips, they're actually quite comparable to Nvidia. But what actually sets Nvidia apart is it's actually their operating system behind the chips.
mhm.
So it'll be interesting to see, how the two play out going forward, and
Absolutely.
because obviously Trump wants to rule the world, so to speak. He wants to take on China.
Mhm.
So Intel will be a big building block within that, and that's why he got that 10% stake.
Absolutely. It's interesting what you just said. For me, as someone that's not too heavily in the tech space, I see more Intel chips in more computers than I do Nvidia chips. It's more, few and far between with the Nvidia chips, and it's usually a selling point of various laptops and things like that. So, for me, I'm more familiar on a day-to-day basis with the chips of Intel and things like that. At the moment, I'm using a Intel Core i5.
Absolutely. Well, that's the thing. So they're just two different types of chips. So where Intel sort of back, like they accidentally found a niche, is Bitcoin mining. So if you remember back in the day when it was all about Bitcoin miners,
Mhm.
people actually figured out that the GPU chips, because of their parallel processing, could solve that Bitcoin equation a lot faster than, say, a serial throughput chip. And then, obviously, with the advent of AI and massive data centers, Jensen Huang's found more and more uses for their chips. So yeah,
Absolutely.
they've done really, really well.
Innovation was key, I guess. So really, we're just sitting by and waiting for that Wednesday evening, evening in the US earnings reports from Nvidia.
Yes,
I think,
that'll be Thursday morning our time here in Sydney, or Australia.
yep. So you're calling, if the negativity comes out on Nvidia, that the markets could potentially pull back towards the end of the week.
Well, it's a tough one. So because AI is still in its infancy,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm just looking at the chart of Nvidia now, the way that it's kind of tried to sell off and now it's fighting back, I have a funny feeling that there could be one last gasp here. I wouldn't say a last gasp, but there's still a lot more upside where Jensen Huang can actually excite the market. So if he were to talk about something about robotics, self-driving cars, or some other partnerships where they do need Nvidia chips, or even say the Middle East buying, building a bunch more data centers, in that area, it could ignite the market. So I don't want to call it either way, but it seems that it's just like in other times, it's Nvidia itself that's holding up the market. Like if it doesn't actually break out the new highs, I can see just if it just goes sideways to down, then the rest of the market has a pretty healthy pullback, which you actually do need, because we've had pretty much straight one-way traffic from the April lows to this point now. So
been a great time in international markets.
Absolutely, just pretty much just buy the dip.
Yep. It has, though, been this earnings season, from what I read the other day, I think it's up to 75% of companies have beat guided expectations. So hopefully, Nvidia can be one of those candidates and actually surpass what was guided for this period. But, we won't wait. We'll have to wait and see on Wednesday.
Well, as I often tell Mark in the other podcasts, is that the US actually set themselves up for the win. So they'll often guide low and then just beat by a penny, or beat by just enough to set yourselves up for a win. So it wouldn't surprise me if Nvidia just comes out with some announcement, market catches hold, and then we're off to the races again.
Absolutely. And a lot of our recent global alpha picks have been off the back of good company in a good position at the moment, earnings coming up. We're fairly confident that earnings will be beat, put the recommendation out, and the results speak for themselves, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. What was your most recent one?
Marvel Technologies, we're still waiting for the earnings there, and Palo Alto has done really well. You've pretty much missed the boat on that one, but Palo Alto was a speculative play in a way with cybersecurity and putting it out a bit riskier before earnings. But we like that space. Recently, we've been looking at it for probably 3 to 4 months, and initiated that trade, and it's done well. Yeah, and prior to that was Tencent.
That's right. Yeah, I was about to say, let's not forget your great call on Tencent. It's back at near the target now. So yeah, if you want to get these recommendations in real time, just give one of us a call at NPC Markets, and we'll put you on the list.
Or jump on the website and put your details in.
Yeah, absolutely.
Perfect. All right, thanks for your time, JT. It's been great catching up and getting some of your insights.
No problems.
And we'll catch up with you guys next week.
All right, thanks for listening.
Take care.
General advice warning. The content presented in this presentation is intended for informational purposes only and provides general advice only. It does not take into account your personal objectives, financial situation, or specific needs. This information should not be the sole resource when making investment decisions. We strongly recommend you seek the advice of a financial professional.